Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Greider. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Excited to be connecting in with you on The Author's Journey, where we help you really dig into what is it like to bring a book forward. How have best-selling authors tapped into their story, tapped into their message, and been able to bring it forward. We get to have candid conversations with best-selling authors who pull back the curtain and share what the journey is really like, what it has taken to bring their book forward in a powerful way. Welcome. I'm just thrilled and excited to have you joining us today as we lean into another powerful conversation with a beautiful best-selling author. I know you're going to love her heart, her spirit, and all of the wisdom that she is bringing to the table to share with us today. And in order to get the most out of our time together today, I want to encourage you to choose to be present. So taking a breath in through the nose, stretching up, receiving all that beautiful air, coming back into the room, fully present. I find it's amazing just what one deep breath can shift and how it can help us become present. So keep enjoying those deep breaths throughout the show. Really take a moment to connect in. I encourage you to have a piece of paper ready and a writing utensil so you can take notes as insights and ideas are shared with you that speak to you or bubble up within you from the conversation. This is your time. We are thrilled and honored to connect in with you and pour into you and support you on your journey as an author and bringing your book, your content, your transformational information forward. Because here's what I've discovered. If you have that pull in your heart that, maybe I should share this, or people keep telling me to share this with the world, or I should write the book, that's a calling. That means your information is needed now. And I want to encourage you to take those steps to bring your message, your book, your content forward. And I know as I share about our amazing author, you're going to be encouraged, empowered, and lean into all that she has to share. So welcome everyone to the conversation. And let me share a little bit about Shelby. So Shelby Cotman, at the age of 9, wanted to be a teacher and author. A couple of years ago, God gave her the nudge to start writing and to bring her writing forward. So not just keep writing it, but it's time to bring it forward and start sharing. And now she is joining us as an international best-selling author, an artist, an empowerment leader who is passionate about helping you connect more deeply with nature, with your soul, and stepping forward in all the ways that you are called. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Shelby Cotman to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. You hold such a lovely space, and I'm honored to be here.
Oh, thank you, Shelby. I just smile as I welcome you to the stage. I love you. I love all that you stand for, and I'm excited to share you with all of our listeners today. So welcome. You are part of that space that we are creating as we are connecting. So welcome. And I wanted to start with why. I know that at an early age, you had this calling to be a teacher, you had a calling to be an author, and it was just more recently you really felt that nudge that, this is the time. So can you share a little bit of what that original knowing was like, and then what helped you decide to bring it forward, and maybe even what held you back, why it took the nudge?
Well, I've always had a very strong tie with my inner voice, that gut feeling, that still small voice inside of you, even since I was a little girl. And I live by that. I make my decisions by it. I think God speaks to us through our heart, and that's where that small voice comes from. And so when I felt the calling to start writing, at first I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But then that nudge just kept getting stronger, and I thought, I need to follow the calling. And as I wrote, I discovered my passion and creativity and the muse, and it blossomed into something beautiful that upon prayer I knew I had to share with the world. Now, one thing that held me back from that is I do have a strong inner critic. And I needed to silence that inner critic in order to allow myself to grow and feel comfortable in that space. So I would get into the flow state and pray and surround myself with nature. And God taught me a lesson through that. He taught me the importance of letting go, the importance of being able to lean in, even though you don't know the outcome. Yeah. And one more thing was that I believe our relationships are very purposeful. I wrote in my book that people are placed in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And one of the people very purposely placed in my life was my cousin. When I was writing, I would share my writing with her, and she was going through cancer treatments at the time, and so she was living in pain on a daily basis. And when she would hear my words, she said it transported her to a place of peace and healing and inspiration. That allowed me so much grace and propelled me forward to know that it could impact her heart in that way. And that's where our relationships are so synchronistically mutually serving, in that she was helping me have confidence, helping her feel good and deepen her life experiences.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I love that you were able to walk beside her in that way and be encouraged and nudged to, realize the power of the words you've been given to bring forward and to share, and that encouraged you through some of that inner critic and things that can stop us, but that empowered you to continue to step forward and bring it forward. Beautiful. So any tip that you have around that, if anyone is struggling with that inner critic, or, who me, why my words, anything like that you would share with them from, looking at it and now as an international best-selling author, what would you share?
I would say, no. The thing that helped me overcome it was I knew that writing was too important to me to allow my inner critic to get in the way. When I was young, I played the piano. I loved the piano, but I allowed the inner critic to stop my joy of playing the piano because I criticized myself too much through it. From learning that, I recognized that I was not going to allow that to happen with writing, and I could set boundaries within myself and say, no, inner critic. We're not going to have that conversation, because we have a mission and a purpose in the world that we need to carry out.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about what Shelby is sharing and really owning that mission, that it's too important to bring forward, to draw a boundary around that inner critic, to choose to listen to those nudges, those reminders of how powerful your words are, how needed they are in the world, and let that be the voice, the perspective that you give attention to. you can choose. I love that. You can put boundaries around that. No, we're not going to entertain that right now. This is where we're going to focus. So as we go to our first commercial break, I want you to think about what she shared. Enjoy these 2 minutes, and we will continue our conversation in just a moment.
Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit samyaupoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, poetry.com. Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Streaming live, the leader in Internet Talk Radio, VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. I always find a minute or 2 minutes can make such a difference when I'm being really present and taking in information and insights. And sometimes just being, it can be so powerful too, and letting it become part of me on the cellular level, that knowing or that new perspective. So I encourage you, as we go through our time together, enjoy those 2 minutes at a time moments to support you in being and receiving and processing the information that is being shared with you, either from inside you or from our conversation. So welcome back. We're excited to continue our conversation with the international best-selling author, Shelby Cotterman, and we are just super excited to share with you some of her journey. One of the things I love about Shelby is she's always willing to share what she learns and come from her heart space in doing that. And for anyone who hasn't had a chance to read her book yet, you will feel that in the tone and how everything is shared. It's in this beautiful container of from that heart space to share and support you on your journey as she shares the journey of Allie. And actually, I'd love to have you describe your book and some of why you brought it forward, the perspective it shared from, and what you hope readers gain from it.
So Allie's story begins in her youth, and she grows up in a home with a mother who is empathic. She feels others' feelings and cares deeply, and a father who's more narcissistic. And that shapes and contrasts her ideas of life and love. And as she grows, she learns that she has some inner work to do and healing to allow herself to step into her own and blossom. Mm-hmm. But along the way, in that journey of self-discovery and tuning into her heart, she finds wisdom in nature. And she sees very deep meaning in relationships. And through the people and places and events placed in her path, she comes into her own. And through that story, I want that to be an example to people that no matter what circumstances you're faced with in life, we all have trials and we all have triumphs. We can choose who we want to be. Mm-hmm. And we can sculpt who we want to be, co-creating our lives with God through prayer, through intention, through taking the time to reflect deeply on the meaning of our lives and its events, even the simplest of things. When we take time to dive deep into our heart and soul, we live from that level. We give from that level, and it changes who we are.
Yes. Beautiful. And do you mind sharing the title of the book and some of what it was like to have this clear intention of what you believe and what you're hoping this book helps people discover as they go through Allie's journey and stories and her what she's discovering and learning and reflecting on. You've included artwork in the book as well. But I'd love for you to take a moment, share the title of your book and what it was like to have it received. So it's one thing to have the intention to bring it forward, to bring it to the world, but then it was received really powerful. It became a bestseller in the U.S. and Canada, 15 categories, so an international bestseller. And people then have been reading it and giving you feedback. So do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, my book is called Evolution of the Soul, Live Your Truth, Transform Your Life. And the reason I call it Evolution of the Soul is I believe that when we live from that heart and soul place, we evolve at that level through life. And for me, that's a very fulfilling way to live. It gives life so much more purpose and meaning. And helps me serve others in a more powerful way. Having put my book out into the world, shared it with family, friends, strangers, it has been just so touching on a personal level and empowering as a creator to hear such meaningful and positive feedback. It means so much to me to hear how my book is making a difference in other people's lives. Mm-hmm. They say it made them think more deeply about their relationships and have a desire to take time to spend in nature and really dive deep into their heart and hold that space every day. And I think that ripples out into the world.
Yes. Oh, that must feel so rich and so wonderful to have that impact and get to see some of that ripple, because I think sometimes we hope for that, or we hope we're touching lives and making a difference. But to know that it is touching lives, it is having that impact, it is helping people go deeper and impacting them in a positive way is really beautiful. So congratulations. I celebrate that with you, and I hold that space with you, and it's exciting. And I think the people that we know, I love how you said friends, family, strangers, like it's just been rippling out. that impact does too, and we only get to know a fraction of the impact that we have. So just know that is impacting more and more and more that we don't know about yet. And to me, that's such a testament to you and to your heart that already you're getting to see some of the impact and in reaching people. And as we reflect on that and how it's going out and impacting people, one of the pieces that you included is artwork that you have created, that you have drawn. That was very deliberate and purposeful to be included with reflections, and the energy of those drawings the choice to include them was very deliberate in where you decided to have them in the story, in your book, and why you had them there. So do you mind sharing just a little bit about that with the listeners today?
Oh, yeah. It's a privilege to be able to touch people's lives. And as I was writing, I wanted to share more than one gift with the world. I wanted to share another passion that is sketching, drawing. And when I would write a piece, there were times I would get a vision of a sketch that I needed to draw along it that would enrich the experience of absorbing those words with a visual that can speak in a way that touches a different part of our soul. So accompanying several of the pieces in my book are these sketches, illustrations that facilitate even more understanding of the text.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I had the opportunity to get to experience some of the book as it was being created. And for myself, I found the pictures very impactful and the reflections. And I loved how they were spaced because the story that is written, there are times that there are some really challenging things that Allie faced and reflected on and discovered and learned. And I found the pacing of those images and reflections helped kind of stop, pause, absorb, reflect, and then move on to the next piece. So I found that pacing of where you selected and when you selected to include those really supportive as a reader and very impactful. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you made those decisions. So I love that you felt led to, share some of your additional gifting and bring those in, but how did you know when and where and which ones to include and make those decisions from an author perspective?
I'm a strong believer in having balance in life, in all things in life. So I wanted there to be a sense of balance as the reader progressed through the book. So, as you said, there are some challenging situations that Allie faces. And when she faces a challenge, I think it's important to have the buoyancy of insight through those challenges, learning, deep reflection. That's when I really wanted to place emphasis on putting in those illustrations and the reflections that illustrate how sometimes through our greatest trials, we can garner our greatest strength and our deepest inner knowings that allow us to grow from those challenges and become a light for the world. I know that as a character, Allie couldn't have touched other people's lives had she not been through those experiences and processed them on the level that she did through reflecting. And I think that's a key piece to anyone who is going through a trial in life, is to take that, process it with yourself, find the seed that you can grow from that, and then share the fruit of that growth with others to touch their lives too. So that in that, it's a blessing. So to get back to your question, that sense of balance is designed to articulate this message I wanted to bring across and to allow readers the opportunity to take a breath from intense moments in the book and feel enlightened.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And as you're sharing some of your thoughts around that and why and the balance you're looking to bring and what you're hoping the reader experiences, but that it's important that the depth of what Allie experienced is shared, but adding that balance of reflection and being so mindful of that, I think is really great for all of us to think about, not only in enjoying the richness and the power of your book, but also for our own journey as authors, really thinking about the reader's experience and what are we wanting that to be, and are we supporting them in providing a balanced way for them to absorb what is being provided or shared in the book? And I feel like you really not only shared the story, but were very mindful of the reader's experience in it, and had great alignment in that and support. And I think that's really something powerful for all of us as we're looking to bring our books forward to be thinking about and aware of, because sometimes we can get caught up in the writing part and forget the reader part or the balance needed to absorb. And I feel like you were very thoughtful and mindful and very aware of that as you were selecting things and making choices and how the information was being shared. So any tip that you would give the reader around the writers and potential readers around making some of those decisions in the work that they're doing and bringing forward?
My biggest piece of advice would be to, as you're deciding, what do I include in my book? How do I structure my book? In what way do I organize it? All those key decision points, take a moment to just tap into your heart and think about your deepest purpose in doing this. What is my mission through this particular book? And what structure, what length, what style, whatever question you're asking, how am I going to best bring that forth to serve those that are reading it?
Beautiful. Our purpose and our mission to serve at the highest level. And what is that? To really feel in and listen and apply to the book. Beautiful to the writing. Thank you for sharing. I think those are great shares, great information to feel into and reflect on. And as we go to our next commercial break, listeners, stay present and really take those deep breaths and write down those things that are touching you, that are adding to all that you're looking to bring forward. And when we come back, I'm going to have Shelby share some of her process. She has another book coming out. She has a process to bringing her information forward in a really powerful way. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, as well as let you know how you can connect with her and go deeper. So stay tuned, and we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 moments.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit SamYaoPoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, Poetry.com.
The Internet's #1 talk station. #1 talk station. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 moments, those 2 minutes as a time to stop, pause, and really take in information, I encourage you at the end of the show, give yourself a couple of minutes 3 to 5 minutes to really tap into what you're discovering and take a moment to just write some of your thoughts and ideas and give yourself that space while you're still in the energy of the show and listening, feeling in to really harness that. And then move back into your day. So I really encourage you to keep this time for you and give yourself that little extra bonus to support you on your journey, because your message matters and is needed in the world. And I want you to know we're here coming together to support you on your journey. And excited to continue our conversation with our amazing Shelby as she is sharing some of her journey and what she discovered and learned along the way. And I love in the last segment how much she was talking about really being so mindful of the reason you're bringing the book forward, who you're serving, and what will help them as you're selecting the content and how it's shared, what will help them as they're experiencing the information, just making sure that that is all in alignment in such a powerful way. And I love how she was willing to tap into multiple gifts to weave that into what she was bringing forward. And that even happened with the cover. So she also is a photographer too. So she selected one of her pictures that was woven into the cover design. So I wanted to take a moment and have you share about your cover and why that picture.
Yes. So when I'm out in nature, I love to capture the images that inspire me. And when I was writing the swallowtail piece, I saw these yellow swallowtail butterflies on the beach in the summer, and they were just captivating. In those moments that it's like it transports me to another level, that flow state of inspiration. And I wanted to capture that moment to share with readers because it brings to life what's in the words. These are real things, real feelings, real visions and experiences that you can have too in your own way.
I love it. And I love that you brought that forward. I was feeling like I was being taken to another place as you were describing the energy of how you shared that. I could just feel it. It was so beautiful. So I love that. And I feel like that's the power of the words and how you bring them forward and the energy and the drawings that you have woven into your book. Just all really, really powerful, very full sensory experience for anyone who is leaning in to get a copy. And so what is the best way for them to get a copy of your powerful book if they haven't already?
The best way to get a copy of the book is on Amazon. It's available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Mm-hmm. And I'm also scheduling some in-person events where I'll do book signings and speaking engagements. So I'm very excited to connect with readers in person.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And not only have you created one book, Evolution of a Soul, but you have a second book coming out the beginning of the year, which is super exciting too. And I'd love for you to take a moment and share a little bit about that book and when, and if we should mark a date on our calendar.
Yes. So my second book is called Seasons of the Soul. See a theme here? And it is, so Evolution of a Soul, my first book, it is a story. And it's a story that exemplifies the power, one of the things it exemplifies is the power of looking within and how that deepens our soul growth and living from the heart. With Seasons of the Soul, it is a compilation of reflections that facilitate you doing that within yourself, in your life. And I want each of these passages to be medicinal, that they reach the spot that you need touched in order to heal or grow or be inspired. And I structured this compilation through the seasons of the year. And if you look at the year from a more metaphysical level, the seasons flow from fall, winter, spring to summer, so that you go through somewhat of a story arc of life in the calendar of that year. And I'm really, really excited for that to serve others and help them dive deep within themselves and get in touch with their heart.
Beautiful. Well, I know, and that book has some more of your drawings and artwork and photos to really support the reflection. So again, I gotta preview everybody of the book. I'm very excited about it coming out. It'll be coming out the first day of February, so February 1st. And I know you'll be doing a special launch with that and a special rate. So I encourage everyone to mark that on your calendar and be watching for that. And I love that not only have you created one book, but with this nudge, you've created two. And I know that you are a creator, and there's more that you're creating and bringing forward. So with that perspective, what advice or tip can you give our listeners about your writing process, that you're able to create multiple books, multiple formats that they're being shared in, bringing artwork in it? How are you able to do all of that? And do you have some tips that you can give them about your writing and creation process that perhaps they could add to theirs?
Well, I always have some way to write down my thoughts next to me. No matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, I need to have a scrap piece of paper or the notes in my cell phone, some way to capture inspiration, because it's really important to me to only write when I'm inspired. That way, what I share with readers is the highest level of content that can help. And so having that resource available to you and just taking that moment to write down those inspired thoughts makes a huge difference in your creative flow and process as you develop your writing. And another thing I think is to not limit yourself. I think if I had told myself, oh, well, I couldn't write 2 books at once, I couldn't add illustrations, it's an adult book, then that would limit my ability to serve in the way that my heart is meant to. And so always say yes to yourself when you're pursuing your dreams.
I love that. Always say yes to yourself when you're pursuing your dreams. I'm just writing that down. That's really powerful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, giving us this great wisdom and tips, sharing a little bit of your writing process. And I'm curious, what did it feel like to do all this creation, to have it ripple out, to have it be received, and not just a few people getting a copy and reading it, but enough that it hit best-selling status in 2 countries, becoming an international bestseller, and really starting to own that. And I was just curious, what was that like? Because it happened very quickly, and I know it was a deliberate choice to share it out in that way. So I'm curious about what that was like and any thoughts you have on that.
Well, it kind of came in waves. At first, it was surreal and humbling. And then when it really sunk into me, it was this powerful affirmation that I am on my path, serving my purpose in life. And that's the greatest thing.
I love that. But holding both, that surreal and confirmation that you're an affirmation that you're on the right path. I love that. So beautiful. Well, Shelby, it's just been a pleasure to have time with you today and an opportunity to share with all our listeners. And I'd love for you to share if there's a final thought, piece of advice that you would give our listeners. I'd love to know that and how they can connect with you and go deeper.
Final thought. I think it is very important. And I know I've somewhat said this already, but I think I just really want to emphasize, especially in these times, the importance of taking a moment to really dive within yourself and get in touch with your heart and soul, because that's what allows you to blossom forth in life and grow and expand that into teaching others. You can get in touch with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I also have a website. It's shelbykotteman.com. That's ShelbyKotteman.com. And that's where you can stay up to date on my offerings coming up and any other books that might be on the way.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you again for joining us. I appreciate it for those important reminders and the ability for people to connect in and go deeper. Listeners, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you have found some great tips and insights to support you on your journey. I encourage you to check out a copy of Shelby's powerful book, Evolution of a Soul, and be watching for the release of Seasons of a Soul that will be coming out on February 1st. So you want to be watching for that as well. I know you will fall in love with her work. And I hope as you step back out into the world that you're taking a little bit of time for you, going deeper, connecting in, and keep that notepad nearby. I love that tip, so that when that inspiration comes, you're able to capture it in real time and be able to bring that forward. Now, I hope you have an amazing week, everyone. I will look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.